Hello, today we're in the third 9 weeks informative literary analytical writing packet. We're looking at essential question number 5. What kind of voice would be most effective in this form of writing? As we look at voice, we're in the style section, and we're going to look at style learning target number 1 to establish and maintain a consistent formal style and tone in our writing. Now, when you see this, sometimes you'll see formal style and tone mentioned, but sometimes you'll just see the words mentioned maintain consistency in style. And when we're looking at style and consistency in style, I'm going to say probably 99.9% of the time when you're asked that question, the answer needs to be that it's using the formal style. So what does formal style look like? Well, let's go back and look at what formal style looks like with one of my old note packets. Now keep in mind the learning target number changed in the since I made the new one. So ours is learning target number 1, not number 2. But please get these notes written by learning target number 1. Establish and maintain a consistent formal style and tone in your writing, and date this target today's date. So here's what we need to remember. Style and tone. Style and tone. Tone is the sound that your words have coming off the page. We've talked about tone in reading class so often, and you guys are doing an excellent job with that. But we really need to make sure that as we edit and revise, the closer we get to publication, we need to continue to edit and revise for that formal style and tone, that our word choice gives that attitude, that sound coming off the page that's formal, that's academic. And so here are some rules for making sure that you maintain a formal style and tone. Number 1, make sure we're using a clear third person point of view. It's the most formal, it's the most academic form of writing. First person's okay, but it's not as formal and as academic as using just the third person point of view in your writing. That helps to maintain that formal style or tone. Second person point of view, avoid at all costs. Very informal. Don't use second person, which is where you say you and speak directly to your writers. Now keep in mind, I am not as concerned about our point of view in our writing for literary or informative analysis as long as you're talking the first rough draft. Don't worry about trying to use first or third person point of view in that. Please just make sure that you're editing and revising and taking out the second and the first person later and changing it in your edit and revisions of other drafts to that clear third person point of view. As you're getting your ideas down in your rough drafting, it's okay in that rough draft to maybe use second person if your thought is coming out of you and onto the paper in that manner. It just shouldn't be there by the time you get to the final draft. Avoid slang terms or overused expressions as well. Don't use abbreviations and simple sentences. Try to use compound complex or compound complex sentences instead. Avoid elementary questioning techniques. Don't be like, what do you think? Or how does that pertain to blah, blah, blah. Sometimes asking questions sounds very childish. So avoid that. Instead, stick to main declarative sentences. Okay, so let's do some practice with spotting academic formal style and tone, as well as making corrections to make sure that our pieces have a formal style and tone. Read the sentences from a student report about the internet. The rise of the internet has changed the world. It has released vast amounts of information to the average citizen and transformed the way stuff happens. For example, people now shop online, bank online, apply for college online, and even watch movies online. Which underlined phrase should be changed to maintain a consistent tone? A, has changed the world. B, to the average citizen. C, the way stuff happens. Or D, an even watch. What's the correct answer? Well, in this case, just like we just discussed, when we're looking at maintaining a consistent tone, that's maintain a consistent style, maintain a consistent tone, making sure that attitude coming out the page is formal. So we're looking again for that formal academic style. If we look at all 4 choices, there's only one clear choice that doesn't do that, and that's choice C. And here's why. Stuff. Stuff is slangy. We want to avoid slang terms like stuff and use words that are more academic, have stronger word choice. And that would make this to have a clear formal style and tone. So keep that in mind. Let's try one more. Read the sentences. Meeting someone new can be an exciting and important event in your life. Any two people who have just met could become very close friends for many years. Which sentence could be added next to maintain consistency in style? Is it A, therefore making a good first impression is always critical? B, however, getting uptight about meeting new people is dumb? C, after a while, the two people will feel like they've known each other forever? Or D, in the end, two people who become close friends won't sweat the small stuff? Which one is the correct choice? In this case, the correct answer is A. And here's why. Again, we're looking at maintain consistency in style. When they say those things, they mean formal style. They want you to use strong academic writing. And in fact, if we go back and look in the passage, that passage is in a clear academic formal style. If we look at choice B, getting uptight and the word dumb are all slang. We want to stay away from those kinds of words. In the next one, feel like they known each other forever. Again, slang. We also have this use of a contraction. Contractions, although not necessarily a big deal to me in your writing, but contractions tend to give a piece a little more of a informal style and tone. And the last one, in the end, two people who become close friends won't sweat the small stuff. Again, an overused expression, slang. Not necessarily overused, I think, these days, but it's definitely a slangy expression. So make sure that as you're writing, as you're editing and revising, I don't necessarily think that looking at a formal style and tone is something to consider for the first draft, as much as something you edit and revise later in your writing. But make sure, as we're approaching publication, that you're editing and revising your writing to maintain and establish a consistent formal academic style and tone in your writing. Go ahead and do a type 1 practice.